Hello and welcome to ForgoTV. Today I'm going to continue on with my project that I started a while ago of a video series kind of going over how to go over this CNC furniture that I've got. So I already did the blender video, just kind of the initial idea. So let me go ahead and go to here. And so I've got these containers and I've got these shelves that I've got. In the picture there, you can see kind of the bracket that I've tested, but this is kind of what I've come up with. So let me kind of show you here. So I've got kind of a, let's see how I want to do this here. So if I pull this back, you can see I've got like a rabbet through here, and then there's a screw that goes through, and you can see that screw in the picture. That's going back against this 2x2 rail. So that's what that is, and then there's some rabbets here. So what I've come up with is I've got these kind of two channels on this side. I've got a hole through here, and then I've got this kind of lip here to kind of hold in for each rail that I want to assemble. And so the idea is that this will be you'll be able to assemble it, and I'll have like 3 platforms. So it'll be like this here, and then there would be different slots, so I could kind of change the setup on these. But this is kind of the rough draft of what I've got going, and I've got 1x2s on the sides. I've got 2x2s on the side rails, and then also on these front rails. And then I'll do some boards out of that, and then I've got some side boards that'll go in between all of these. So if I do this, I think that's lined up, yeah. So that'll go in like that and kind of close them up. And then that way it'll be decorative a little bit. And so with that, I can kind of, let's go ahead and off with that, and we'll go to Vectric. So what I've got to do now with Vectric is I've already done some kind of short videos on what my template is, and so I made a template, and we'll go ahead and let me see here. Preview. Let's preview these. So this is the template that I've got, and it's basically, I cut this out. I've got a couple shorts doing that, but like these holes here are going to have 4 2x2s. These would hold 2 2x2s. That would hold 1 2x2. Hopefully you can see my cursor there. And then this is a 1x2, 4 1x2s, and then 2 1x2s side by side. So that's kind of the jig that I've got set up here. And what I've got to do now is the original kind of setup for that blender design that I've got is on this other sheet that I kind of did. So you can see how I've got these slots that I'm going to cut, and then I'm going to cut the holes into these rails like that. But what I've got to do now is I've got to take these. I've got to take these, and I've got to fit them onto my other sheet. So I need to, let's see, first I need to copy, paste, and then I need to send to sheet 3. There we go. So now I go to sheet 3. And so we will do a layer. Let's add a new layer, base layer. And we'll put all of these into base layer. Now we can shut that layer off. except for copy this and send it to layer 3. And so we'll shut off layer 2. Oop, base layer. And now layer 3 is where, or this slot is where I want to put all of this. So this should fit in here, and I might have to do, yeah, I'm going to have to do a little, well, maybe not. Let's see if I can get it to edge over there. Get this to edge over right. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to go to design, close, and we are going to select this one, and we're going to put it on that. No, we're going to put it on that. No, we're going to put it in between like that. Except, what did it do with all the rest? Oh, it put all of them. We don't want to do that. Let's do, we don't want to do that. I guess that's not going to work. Alright, so we'll do this. We'll select all, select that one, select this. Alright, so we've got our 3D view here. Let's preview the build toolpath. So we got our holes. And now we are going to do these. Oops. Okay. Let's do these. And we will do a pocket. And we'll use a quarter. We'll start at 0, and we're going to go 0.18. Now I wonder how I can visualize this, because this has actually got to go up. Start depth. Negative 0.75. That's not it. Start depth. No, I know what I need to do. We need to go to the sheet. We need to change this up to, yeah, let me go ahead. I'll kind of kill this. There we go. So yeah, we'll go here and we'll go 1.4, because all of my, I planed them all down, and I've jointed and then planed them all down to 1.4 inches so that they could fit into this, and then that way they're all kind of uniform. So we're going to say that it's 1.4 inches tall. And on these toolpaths, I'm going to start at 0 and we're going to calculate. to visualize, I'm going to go 0.75. And I'm going to no, I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to do this. No, I'm not going to do that one. Maybe I am going to do this one. And I'm going to cut down 0.75. And we are doing the opposite of what I want to do here. So we'll delete this. We'll go back to here. We will try just a rectangle through here. So let's say this. Let's say a pocket for this and this. Don't want to be drawing that rectangle. What the hell? Let's delete that. So we want to select this and this. And now we want to calculate. Oh, I think we got it. It'll take forever for it to push that all down, but it's going to give us an idea of what we want. Well, actually, I don't really even need all this junk here. Go back to that and we'll see. We don't need to do all these passes. Let's just do one big old 2 passes because we're not actually cutting this. And then, yeah, since we're not actually cutting this, let's change to just a 1/2 inch. So now we'll calculate and we'll reset and we'll preview. Nice clip. No, we're gonna select a half. We're gonna remove the quarter. We're going to calculate in 2 passes. Reset. Preview. It's not exactly 2 passes, but there we go. So now we'll preview this. So this is going to give me my... Whoa, that's not going to give us any... That's too much, isn't it? Because we put it way too much. So we're going to start depth 0 because we're now at the right height. So now we will preview visible. There we go. So there's our little bit of our the little edge on our bracket, which is this little edge right here where it slides in on the front. So these are all facing down, so that means I have to have 2 facing this way and 2 facing that way because I've got 2 rails on this side and then 2 rails on that side. So now I've got to drill the hole that goes through it so that it can reach to the other side. Because on the other side of this, I've got metal inserts, and then these bolts will slide into those metal inserts, and then it'll snap it all together. These side rails will have a hole in them, so it locks. So this will lock that rail in. Like I say, let me see here if I've got the. Yeah, if we take this guy out, we can see that that's going to go through the rabbit of that, or not the rabbit, but the tongue of the side piece there. So now I've got to do that. So let's go back to Vectric, and we will look at how we're going to do that. All right, so there's our 3D view. So let's do the 2D view. So now we've got to select all of our oops. Let's select all of these. This is annoying. Okay, let's see here. All right, this closer, I guess. Yeah, I have slots in there because I have to do the side slots. But that's a different, that's after I flip them. So we're only doing the one side now, but after I flip them, then I'll have these little side or slots. But I don't want to grab them and cut them now. So we're going to deselect the ones that we picked. And then we're going to pick up this other hole. And these are going to be 1/4 inch holes for the bolt. So it just slides right through. Click off, click off. There we go. And I probably still have to budge these over to fit perfectly within that because it's, I can see it's off already. So I'm gonna have to budge all this. But for now, I'll get all the toolpaths, and once you move the model over, the toolpaths will follow once you recalculate them. So I'm not gonna worry about that while I'm making this toolpath, because then once it's done, it's done. So we've got the toolpath. We want to do a drilling toolpath. We'll start at 0. We're going down 1.4 because that's the depth. So there we go. So that's going to get all the holes. So let's preview that. There we go. So with all of these pieces laid on there, that'll do that. And that'll be these 2 cuts for these. So we'll rename this. Side cuts, I guess. I don't know. Oh, that's not it. This is display, because we don't want to cut this. This is side rails. That's not the one I want. Side cut 0.125. And then here we go. Pocket or drill 1.75. So that'll be that set. And so now if we pretend that we're going to flip them, well, first let's get this all lined up right. Let's unselect these. Let's see what I'm doing. We don't want to move that one, but we do want to get down here and get, where's my, we do want to get this. And the Alt key can will lock it onto the right. So you're going on the right axis, I guess. And I think that'll be probably good enough on that, because we're on the line. So then for the second cut, we've got to do all of these. So now I've got to put all of these on. What I really should do is put all these on their own layer. But this will work for now. So we're going to have to do these slots. And then we're going to groove it. I'll show that in a second. Let's see where we got. I should probably do this to where I can speed it up since I'm just recording it in action here, but we'll just do it since I'm just throwing out all kinds of videos lately. So let's see here. Let's move to layer, new layer, slots. Okay, move those to a new layer. Now we're going to cut them, and we're going to say that we're going 1.4 because he's got to go all the way through. And even though I already slotted these, so it doesn't actually have to go all the way through, but for future ones, this will be doing all of the work because I had already planed them down and kind of messed with it to try to figure out how I was going to do this. So for this set anyway, it won't really matter, but all right, so undo last, undo last, undo last. Oh, I won't do that. Dang. So we'll do display and drill. So the second set, once I flip them, because I'll have to flip the edges around. So now we've got the slots. We'll have to rotate these two 90 degrees that way, and then these two 90 degrees the other way. And that way, because the first cut, they've got to be two facing to the right, and then two facing to the right, to the left, because of the way that it's all going. And then these will be having all the backs, or all the solid fronts at least, will be there. And we need to actually change this up because of that. Now that I'm glad I thought of this, because we don't want to go all the way through. We want to go 1.25. Because we don't want a hole there. We just want a slot, and then the front face needs to be solid so that we see, so that it can have a decorative front. And then, what are the other two things we got to do? We got to cut these. I'm going to cut those down to 1/8. And then we've got to take these, and we're going to put these into a 1/4 inch. And so now if we preview the visibles, we have this kind of channel going in here, how we want it. Let's see, we've got a kind of a channel there. And then that way these side rails will slide into that channel, and then the sides already got these holes going through here for the bolt. So the bolt will go through those holes, and then it's got one little ledge on each of these for the cutout for that rail to rest. So we've got all of our cuts for that. So this is the first set of cuts, and then this is the second set of cut. Just these two. So do these, flip, and then do these. So that's how that is going to work. And let's go to base. Let's go to here. We've got this one we need to copy over. Copy to layer 3. Then we take our base back off. So now this is the other one that I've got populated with. Oh, there's one more thing that I'm going to need to do is, because all of these are they're cut with a rounded bit. So all of these little pockets have a little bit of a rounded corner in here. And so to fix that, what I'm going to do is it will go down 1/4 of an inch. Oops. Let me do this. Shift to, or Alt to lock it, so it's always, so it keeps your orientation. And if I go around, so now we need to move this up. We can move Y. 4.25 apply. So now that shifts that up because I've got a one spacer that's 1/8 of an inch. And then that's going to slide right in there. And then that way, because if I don't do that, that little rounded corner is going to catch, because this is such a tight fit for these boards, and these boards are squared. I mean, I suppose I could chamfer them off or whatever there, but just to keep it safe, I'll shift everything up 1/4 of an inch. And so that brings us to wait, I don't want to preview all of them. I need to calculate all of them. So I need to recalculate once since I moved it, because see it's shifted up a little bit. If I don't do that, then all the holes stay the same place. And so if we take out this one, and take out that one, and take out that one, we can see that that's our cuts again. Alrighty. So now I've got these side rails. And I need to remember to not take that and not take that. Because those were just for measurement. So I've copied this, and now I'm going to select it, move it to layer sheet 3. Uh-oh. Let me undo that because I don't want it there. Oops. Ah, damn it. There we go. Because I don't want to screw that up. All right, so I got to grab all this. I don't want this. I don't want this. I want to copy. I want to paste. I want to grab. I want to move. And then I want to send. There we go. So now we can go to here. And I can grab. And we can select. And we can move. And now I need to double check how we're gonna. So I'm gonna take this over here and I'm gonna restart this because something's weird with that. I don't like it. So for this we're gonna 0.75, and for the height we're gonna go 84. I'm gonna go create. Oops. I'm gonna close this. We'll bring this guy down. And we'll bring this guy down. There we go. This guy goes here. This guy goes to the side of that guy, or this side of that guy. This guy, PCB, and then go to the side of this guy. And then we'll do CB, and then this guy is going to go on that side of this guy. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And I really like that one. don't like this one. Let's delete it. And we're going to do this guy to the inside of that guy. There we go. So we've got all those, and then we've got these. Are going to cut our little rabbit things. Like so. And we are going to have these. Figure this out. We're going to have these. What is that? 27.5. Copy paste, and then we're going to move. We're going to go 27.5. Plus 1.25. No, plus 0.75. And we'll Control C, Control V, and now we'll move that 27.5 plus 0.75, which is actually 28.25. I think that's right. Let's double check that. We're going to be in the middle of these. Yeah. Okay, it was right before. Okay, there we go. Oh yeah, but shit. So that's what's between them. But our total length is 30. So if the total length is 30. Let's delete these. Total length is 30. Yeah, something's going to be weird here because we need, is this our 30? No, that's our 27. We need this guy. Line up to that guy. And now we need this guy. To line up to that guy. This is at 30. CV move 30. Where's that end up? 30 minus 1.25. plus minus 29.25. Let's try that. 29.25. No, 29.5. That's right. 29.5. Control C, Control V. 29.5. Oh, we didn't do the Control V. Control C, Control V. Move 27.5. Boom. Okay, we screwed it up. We screwed it up. Here's what we gotta do. We gotta put this here. This is the in-between. So that's gonna slice them all apart. But since the bit is 1/4 inch, this is 1/4 inch wide. So that's gonna cut these boards. So that means these, if our board is 30 inches, these need to come at 27.125, I think. At 27.5. No. At 29.5. No, we're at 29. No, we're at 28.775. That's what I'm going with. Because whatever these are is whatever it's going to be. But that means that this gives it should give it 30 inches now. So we've got 30 inches tall, or 30 inches on each. Let's go back to our blender. Let's look at our blender. Let's say blender, what do we got? We've got these containers. And these are 27.6. Like so. And so if these are 29 total, because it's an extra inch, so that's okay. So we're doing 30 inches total length, and these are set at 29. But actually, these might not be fully there anyway. What happens if we do 30? Yeah, 30 actually does it. But I think the difference is that we want these pockets to be 1/4 of an inch less. So let's see here. Are we at 1.24? Okay, yeah. So we're already good on that. Okay, so that's one shelf. And now we've got Control C, Control V, and then this will go up 60. Oop. 30. And we grab it and we push it up to there. And then we grab this. Push that up 30. It's too much. So yeah, I guess that's what we're gonna do. That's what I have over there anyway, isn't it? Yeah, we've got 2 cuts going. Okay. So we take this. And profile, starting at 0, going all the way through. And we'll just do it in like 4 passes. We don't need any tabs or anything. We do want to push this up 0.125 for our spacer. And yeah. Let's preview that puppy. So essentially it's going to be like that. Because there's that little curve in there, I've got to make those boxes just go over. So these guys, what's up with this dude? There we go. And yeah, we'll just bring them all down. Bring that down. let's see how that looks. What happened there? Reset. What the heck happened? It's too close or something? I don't know what's up with this, but I don't like it. What happened to our... Let's make sure we're all in there. Pass this on the inside. I don't know what's going on here. I'll take these out and we're going to see what that does. Okay, we got problems here. That's what we got. We got a bunch of extra little punks over here. Bunch of extra punks that don't need to be around. We'll grab these. Oh, you bastard. Okay. Now we grab the profile. Now we recalculate. Let's see what happens. Finally. Now we add that one and that one. Okay. We have that one cut across. And then we need to make these smaller. width is going to be 3. 0.125. Yep. 3.125. Now we gotta recalculate. And now we need to reset. And now we need to preview. And now we need to wait, did that do it the way we want it? No. So we're gonna take this off. Cut this one off. Now we can calculate those. And now we can calculate this. Let's see what's going on here. That ain't gonna work if we don't do it like that. There we go. Finally. Anyway, yeah. So that's a long ways to do that cut, but that's what the cut's going to be. And that one didn't change. Okay. So that'll be a couple cuts to get all those. And then this other one is wait a minute, what else was I doing with that? Or was I doing anything else? Let's look back at our bracket here. Yep, we're doing a slot. So we'll grab this this, and this. We're going to Control V, bring it over. Select them. Bring them over. And yeah, just like that. And I don't actually care if I got my spacer on that, so I'm just going to do the full width of this. And we are going to do the slot at 0.25. And we'll calculate. And we'll reset preview. We'll preview these two. And we'll preview this one. So that's what's going to give me these. And so that when these slide into the side rail of our bracket over here, let's do the vent, we'll do blender. So when we, let's go find our bracket here. To make sure we're all set here. So when we put this side rail in, we're going to have a channel so that we can slide this into it. So that's why that channel is there. So that'll slide in there like that. That'll lock into the other side channel that we did on the 1x2s. So that's why that channel is there, to lock all these in. And then got that. And then, yeah, we'll have to drill holes with all of these. And I may just do that on the drill press because it'd be a little easier. When I'm not doing like a carving. And so what I'm going to do with the carving is I've got go here. So this other part here is like let's see if we got that. No, I don't want. Let me see here. Let me try to get this all first set up right. Well, let me see here. Let me copy this. Control V, Control V, Control C, Control V. Select them. And then we'll move to layer 3. Did it move? No. Oh, we need to move to sheet 3. Okay. Why is that not lining up right? Is that because I was going to do the front rails with decoration? I think that's because I'm going to do the front rails decoration. I think that's why. And I think if I take this, and I take this, and I copy that over with this. And move to sheet 3. I think that this is move to sheet 3. Okay, so we're going to do this, 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 this. And we are going to all right. So we want ball nose. Calculate. And we'll preview all of these. So that's the first set, that's the second set, that's the first set, and then we've got these decorative on 2x2s. Just kind of like a carved in. And that will be on these 2x2s that go across on the so these 2x2s will have that front kind of carving on it. I guess we'll do it here. So these 2x2s will have the front carving, and then the side pieces will have the rabbet cut, and then I'll have to just drill holes in the side. These rails have already got all their cuts. They've already got their grooves for the panels. And yeah, I'll have to make one more groove cut. I'll have to flip it after I make the rabbets. I'll have to flip all the boards and then make one more groove cut. So I'll have a second groove cut. So let's rename this groove cut 1x2 side A. And then we will copy this one. Duplicate, and we'll do side B. Calculate. Okay, so we've got side A, side B, the 3D finish on the fronts, the profile. This is the Tone cut. This is the this is the board cut. This is the tone cut. This one is the slot side B. Pocket side B. Slot side B. Drill side A. A, let's see here, rabbit cut. Template part B, and I did part A and part B on just kind of these two different profile cuts, mostly because I wanted to make sure that the first cut was going to be as accurate as I needed it to be. So the first cut, the first profile is just this one, that first one. And then I slipped a board in there and realized it's perfect. Okay. So now if we preview all of them, we should be, yeah, drill, side, cut, board cut of these 2x2s, so I gotta rename that. That's gonna be the 1x2s, 1x2. One X2. And I think we've got it. It's kind of gonna be the most of it, I think. Where is this whole oh, that's the tabs from before. So yeah, these are all 1.4 inches up. So this should do it. I'm just going to put 2 boards in on that side, and then I'll cut them with a scroll saw just to get right in there. Let's save this puppy. Awesome. So we've got all of our, let's see here what we've got going for So the first cut is going to be 35 minutes. Probably a little quicker than that. But roughly 30 minutes for the first cut. And then I'll flip them. And the second cut will be about an hour and 23 minutes. But that'll be much quicker than that. Because it'll go a little quicker than that. I don't know, why are these... Oh, because I've got 13 passes, no wonder. Cut depth. Yeah, I don't need 13 passes for that. Let's go 6. This one we don't need, or we only got 2 passes. What do we? Why is this? Oh, feed rate 200. Let's go 400. There we go. So we've got an hour on that side, a half hour on this side. So we're at like an hour and a half. And then let's just double check all these. 3 minutes. See, that's what those should be more like. Groove cut. 20 minutes. Groove cut doesn't need to be. Down to 30. So 30 minutes that side, 30 minutes this side, or an hour on that side. Which I don't really think needs to be an hour. So why is it an hour? Because the slot doesn't need to be 3 passes. That doesn't need to be 13 passes. Oops, we didn't recalculate. New one. Set passes 1. Calculate. Okay. So we're down to less than an hour on that one. See, we're at 6 minutes versus 28. Why did it not? Yeah, we didn't save it. That's why. Set passes. Okay, calculate. Okay. Now let's look at the time. Now we're down to 40 minutes. Now we're down to 2 hours to get all this done. And 3D finish is about half hour, which it'll probably be closer than that, but roughly half hour. And then we've only got one tool change. Close. And yeah, looks like we're at a 2-hour cut. We'll get it all done there. And I'll have to break it up a little bit to where I do, you know, 2 cuts on that side, and then I'll flip them, do those cuts, and then I do these cuts, and then flip those, and then do the last groove, and then so I'll have 3 total toolpaths that I'll set up together. It'll be side A and of both of these, plus the 3D, or side A on both of these, then I'll flip them, and then I'll do side B on both of these, and then change the ball, then change the bit on the very last path. So I think that's going to be how we're going to do that. So we've got, I don't know, we've been doing this. Here's my hour and 20 minutes of me kind of going through our finalization before we go and cut this on our deal. So if you wanted to see some of the shorts I did on kind of just how it's coming along, you can. I'll try to link them here. And then otherwise, yeah, thanks for watching and have a good day.